Morning everybody. I've attached a list of the things that you're going to need for the free course below. Now you don't have to have everything, you can improvise. I will put in bold the things that you really need to have, the absolute bare essentials, so that those of you who are beginners, and there are plenty of people who are complete beginners to this, realise that you don't have to go out and spend a lot of money. Yes, you will need acrylic paints. That's the thing. If you haven't got any acrylic paints, you will have to spend some money on those. But what I'd suggest is that you get, particularly if you know that you're going to be spending time learning how to paint acrylics, whether you go into my full course or do that on your own or in another course, whatever. If you know that, then I would suggest buying or investing in something like this. This is going to cost you about £11 a colour, but you get 500 mils of paint. Now this is System 3, so it's student quality, but it's good student quality. It's perfectly fine for, I use it in my professional work, mixed in with Golden Acrylics, which are probably the best brand, and Liquitex as well sometimes. If you're more tentative and you're not really sure if it is going to be for you or not, or you're an oil painter and acrylics is just kind of a thing that you might want to use during this course, and if you wanted to go into my longer course, then actually forget about that. If you're maybe an oil painter and you know you don't really want to go down the route of painting with acrylics, but you're quite happy to try them, for example, for this course, then you might want to, or you're a beginner, I'll have to start that again. If, on the other hand, you're really not sure if you want to paint with acrylics, but you're willing to give it a go, then I would suggest going for something like this, which is going to be more like £3 to £4, and you get about a quarter of the amount. You get 120 mils in here. This is a Sennelier Abstract pouch. Now they don't have all the colours that I suggest, but they have colours that are similar enough. They call them different things. So I've written down the bare essentials. For me, there are 11 essential colours, because that's just the colours that I have always used. Recently, in the last couple of years, as I've gotten much more serious about my painting, I have started using other colours than the ones I suggest, which is really good fun, like Cobalt Teal, which is incredibly expensive. It's the most expensive paint I've ever bought from Golden, but it's the most beautiful colour. It really is. Anyway, I'll probably go on about that quite a bit at some point. So System 3 is what you need if you know you're going to be learning acrylics for a while and you're quite serious about it, or get some smaller quantity acrylics like abstract pouches. These are actually really practical as well, because you've got the lids, which are quite, she says, quite easy to get off. They are actually quite easy to get off. Whereas I find with the Golden acrylics, which obviously are lovely, that are more like this, that you often end up with the lids not being able to reattach, because acrylic is plastic, and if it gets all around the thread of the metal here, then it's impossible to get the lids back on. So you've got to be quite diligent at either wiping that off, or you just have to be diligent about wiping it off. Because what I've ended up doing in the past is, when that's happened to me and I can't get the screws back on, I've ended up putting old paintbrushes down the middle just to keep the flow open, and I've even resorted to opening up the metal at the back to squeeze the paint out, just to get the last bits out. So they're not so beginner friendly in a way. These System 3 are great because you can screw the whole entire lid off and just scoop out the paint with a palette knife if you need to. So they're pretty good in that way. I hope that helps. There are other things that I need to address about what you need, but I will do that as we go in the Facebook group, and also in the videos where possible. Now there's one video that I've already made, which is in the session 3A, and I do show you a stretched piece of paper with gesso on it, like this. Some of you may have hardboard, some of you may not. Some of you may have gesso, some of you may not. As I say, I put it in the list below. But if you don't have gesso and you don't have boards like this, and you don't have butterfly tape, which this is, then as long as you get some really good quality cartridge paper like the one I've mentioned below, or watercolour paper, and you have some good masking tape, and you have a flat surface that you can put your paper on and then use the masking tape all around the edges, then you'll be absolutely fine. Now, things that you could use if you don't have board like this is just MDF from a hardware shop like B&Q, somewhere like that, you can get it cut. Then you could use a very, very strong piece of cardboard. If you've got any cardboard boxes in your garage, like I know I have, you could use a really strong piece of cardboard and just tape individual smaller sheets to it. That's obviously not going to work if you're working on an A1 piece of cartridge. You'll be better off just working on the ground or on top of a table. But for actually painting, you'll be cutting up pieces of paper, so you won't have such a large area to work on. The exception to that is maybe the last project, but I'll tell you more about that towards the end. But as long as you have everything that's in bold below ready for between the 28th and the 3rd of July, you'll be fine. I hope that makes sense. And as I say, if you have any questions about the materials, just reply to this particular email. And then I will reply to you as soon as I can, okay? I don't know if I've mentioned the Facebook group or not, but if I haven't, I did say that it's going to be open from the 25th of June, but I'll open it a little bit earlier. I just have to do the introductory video for that, and then I can open it. But I think it's important to open it just a bit sooner to give you more time to work on the first exercise, which is not a practical one. That's all I'm going to say for now. I'm really looking forward to seeing you, and I really hope that everybody who joins the Facebook group would like to do a little post about themselves. So you can either do a video or post a picture of yourself or post a picture of where you're going to be working. Let us know where you are in the country or in which country you are, and what your experience is, what you'd really like to learn, or what your biggest challenge is with painting with acrylics. I'd love to know. Or just what your biggest challenge with your art is. That would be great. And I hope you all connect with each other as well. That's going to be half of the fun, I think. Okay, take care, and I will see you soon. Bye.